Are we live yet?
I hope so. We clicked the button, but let's wait for confirmation on maybe on this display. See if we are actually truly live. I'm gonna just log in. Oh no, I don't want to do this now.
All right, looks like we are live. So, hello everybody. My name is David, and this guy right next to me is also David. We are the Davids from ProMaster, and if this is the first time that you're here with us, then I want to extend to you a very warm welcome. We are going to learn some awesome things today, and if you're a regular, then welcome back. Yeah, let's enjoy the show. Let us know in the chat if this is the first time or if you're a regular. Just let us know what's up, and boom. This is, I think, number 7, number 8, number 9. Number 9. Okay, so we've done quite a few of these. We are trying to kind of always rehash things a bit every single time. Oh, we have a lot of first timers. Look at that.
Look at the chat. The chat is going wild.
Yeah, the chat is going wild. Massimo is a returning visitor. Welcome back, Massimo.
There are a few regulars here.
Someone
said say hello to Brazil, so hello Brazil.
Hello Brazil. Yeah. All right. So I'm always trying to make the introduction as fast as possible, especially because the main slogan of ProMaster is that we're gonna teach you how to do things super fast with ChatGPT.
Before we go there, I wanna address a couple administrative questions that people tend to ask, frequently asked questions. So welcome to this session. This session is going to be roughly 90 minutes long. So we plan to do it. The workshop is going to be roughly 60 minutes, and then at the end we're going to have a 20-30 minute Q&A session where you can ask anything. In the meanwhile, while one of us is talking, the other is always monitoring the chat. So if you have a question, type it in the chat, and we will either interrupt each other to answer.
Yeah, we're really
live.
good at that, actually.
Yeah. or we will just answer it in the chat while the other person is talking.
Yeah.
And another question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So another question that we get really often is, can we watch the replay? And yes, the replay is going to be available on the same exact YouTube link. So you can, come back to it if you have to go. I know some people only have an hour. So if you have to bounce, then
just save the link.
Yeah, you just save the link, and then you can just come back. Okay, that's it for the administrative stuff. I'm gonna give it back to David.
Perfect. And I'm gonna try not to disassemble my microphone during this workshop.
That wouldn't help.
All right, so let's jump right into it. I'm really hoping that you guys are here to learn things about ChatGPT Plus, because that is what is the topic of today's workshop. So is the button working?
It is working.
Okay, so we have quite a few recurring things. One thing is the button that I have a dedicated button that I can use to skip the slides. And we also have the gift, which is going to come at the end of the session. So make sure that if you do have the time, stick with us until the very end. So what are you going to learn with us today? Now, the first things first. ChatGPT is a marvelous piece of technology, but even more so, very recently, researchers at Harvard, Wharton, and MIT came to the conclusion that any knowledge-based job can be done 40% better, more effectively, with ChatGPT. And that is, I think, a mind-blowing statistic.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. Like, they actually measured the quality of the output. And looking into that detail, they compared two sets of people. One were people who just trial and erroring using ChatGPT. No formal education, no learning about prompt engineering, just using whatever. And the other group was actually people who received formal prompt engineering training. There was a difference, about a 5% difference between people who did versus people who did not receive formal prompt engineering training, but it was around that 40% number. So whatever you do, if you use ChatGPT for your work, you will be increasing your output by 40% on average. And that, let that sink in. Not the actual sink, the one that, remember the one Elon Musk brought in the sink. Is like, I bought Twitter, let that sink in. But there was also another parameter in this story, and that was time. Now, time was really, really interesting, because for all those people who were using ChatGPT, they actually did see an improvement in time as well. They could complete their tasks faster. But how much faster, just to be very precise? First of all, those people who did not receive any prompt engineering training were doing their jobs about 18% faster. That's already a really significant improvement in terms of speed. It's basically people were thinking faster with their knowledge-based jobs, right? As if it's as if like you were working as a carpenter and then you would just be able to move your hands a lot faster. It's the same thing, but now you're thinking 18% faster. Now, the interesting thing was that after people got supplementary prompt engineering training, that improvement doubled to 30%. So if you get proper prompt engineering training, if you learn how to prompt, then you will be able to do a 40% better job, whatever your job is. If you are a knowledge worker, if you're a business professional, if you're a marketer, a copywriter, and if you're using ChatGPT for academic research, if you're using it as a consultant, as a legal professional, as a developer. Doesn't matter. If you're using it for a knowledge-based job, you can increase the quality of your output by 40%, and you can get to that 30% faster.
Okay. I have two things that I want to point out.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the people in the chat, no, it just disappeared. Someone said that he used ChatGPT to write code, and then he got he got it done in like half the time. And then the other question is like curious how they collected this data. And I went in the study, and what they actually did is they created an app that was using GPT-4. And what they did is through the app, the applicants had to do certain tasks, answer questions, do some knowledge-based outputs, and that way they could really perfectly measure the time it took them to complete a task. So they weren't using ChatGPT interface. They built their own app for this research, which used GPT-4 as the chat. So they basically recreated ChatGPT, but they had the measurements behind it.
We can share the link to the study in a follow-up email after this session.
Yeah, if anybody's interested.
If anybody's interested, just let us know. Do you want the study? If you want the study, just type study in the chat. In the meantime, basically what we're looking at is if you're doing a knowledge-based job on a daily basis, then you probably have a working hours set at about 8 hours. Whatever you do, if you get formal prompt engineering training and if you use ChatGPT for your work, you will get your job done in less than 6 hours, and your job will be better. And I think time is the scarcest resource we have as human beings, right? We probably everybody heard about that kind of story or analogy about, you have $86,000-ish dollars in the bank, and then $86,400 in the bank you have to spend every single day, and doesn't matter what you spend it on. Next day you get another one. So it's like that's kind of how to think about that. You're getting time back, and it's significant. It's not enough for AI to take your job yet, right? It probably won't take your job. There is this notion that I read somewhere where it was, AI took my job to the next level.
Yeah,
right.
That was like from Upwork. It was like
I think it was an Upwork ad. Yeah. Now, if you can save 2 hours a day with your knowledge-based job, there are about 250 workdays a year. So that translates to about 500 hours saved per year in total. If you think about that, that's 21 days consecutively. But if you also translate the 21 days into 8-hour chunks, because 8 hour is one workday, then you're still going to be able to save more than 60 days. Can you just imagine that? think about all the stuff you did in the last year. And if you used ChatGPT for everything, you could have still achieved everything that you did achieve and still go on a holiday for 2 months consecutively and then come back and still everything's done.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy because we're all very overwhelmed. I'm pretty sure you guys also understand that. As knowledge workers, we are all very overwhelmed. And oh, sorry.
David on the left. Is that you or me? I think it's me.
I'm on the left.
Well, here I'm on the left, but
Well, I'm really hoping we have all the Martians listening in and learning how to use ChatGPT as well. Anyway, so that's what we teach. We teach people how to think faster. And I want to kind of pick the pace up a bit so we can get to the point. But obviously, I think the big question here is why you guys should listen to us, right? We run ProMaster. We're the founders of ProMaster. ProMaster is a ChatGPT school. We're actually officially listed as a school on LinkedIn now, which is awesome. That was a big thing that we managed to do. And we launched this March. We educated over 6,000. I think it's actually now about, it's more than 8,000
last
now.
week it was.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago it was 6,000.
2 weeks ago it was 6,000. Now it's about 8,000 from 45 countries. So we have quite a few people here who are learning with us in our community. And who are we? So this lovely gentleman right next to me has an education background. He used to teach people how to do Instagram marketing in 160,000 people community that he built for himself. And I have a technology background. I'm a nerd. I used to run my own machine learning startup back in London for 5 years. There is a lot of tech stuff that I've kind of touched on, but when ChatGPT came out, it just kind of blew me away. And I remember last year during Christmas building a Discord chatbot using the OpenAI API, turning it into Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. And I said, like, guys, 2023 is going to be the year of AI. You just don't know it yet. And I was right.
Yeah.
I was right. But we're not alone, right? We're also supplemented by professional partners who are academics and who have decades of experience in areas like machine learning, deep learning, neural networks. One of the co-authors of our courses is Levent, who is a docent at the Frankfurt Business School of Finance and Management. So there is a really, really solid background that we have in terms of knowledge. We are more on the everyday use and practical usage and practical kind of teaching part of this. So while we do have the academic background that gives us a solid theoretical foundation, we do have a lot of experience with using ChatGPT for everyday tasks. For example, Dave and I together, we just counted this. I think it's now a lot bigger now, but we've had, since ChatGPT came out, over 5 million words with ChatGPT. That's I think it's a pretty big number. That's basically longer than the entire biography and life's work of Ernest Hemingway, which is we out-Ernested Ernest.
Well, we haven't published it yet.
We haven't published it yet. Probably will.
Publishing 5 million words is a lot bigger achievement than just writing 5 million words.
Exactly.
But, it really puts it into perspective.
Exactly. While we're having this conversation, we do have a few regular students who have been with us for a while. So guys, just let the people know what it's like to learn from us. Let people give a taste of what happens when we teach people how to work super fast, and do awesome things with ChatGPT. Now, let me give you sort of an analogy, and then I'm going to shut up. So, first of all, this is you, Mario. Then, you meet with ChatGPT. This never gets old. Sorry, I love this joke. Anyway, Mario and ChatGPT go after Bowser. Anyway, so when you use ChatGPT, you go from this to this. You get to do awesome things when you work, and you do them super fast. That's basically what we're trying to get to turn little Mario into a big Mario, a big plumber in red and white clothes who can spit fireballs. We cannot probably do that. Sorry, I want to make sure that we only promise what we can deliver, but you will still be able to do awesome things super fast with ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically speaking.
Fireballs, yeah.
Anyway, so prompt fireballs. So let's talk about the agenda. We have 3 big topics for today.
Well, yeah, topic 0 was the introduction. And the first topic we're going to talk about is why you get bad responses from ChatGPT, and how you can fix that by improving your prompting, and how you can fix that by second point, which is giving ChatGPT long-term memory with PDFs. And the third one is going to be a demo of us doing awesome things super fast. And this is going to hopefully give you some inspiration of what are some extra things you can do with ChatGPT. Many people who learn from us say that, wow, I didn't even think about it that way. So I hope that we can, just stretch people's minds a little bit of like what's possible, maybe think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're cheating a bit, right? Because we're going to show you what we did with ChatGPT. That took us about 10 to 15 minutes. And then we're also going to share all the ChatGPT conversations.
Yeah.
But we're probably not doing them live because...
It's faster that way if we just demo what we did.
Yeah, it's faster. It's even faster than fast. It's fast.
It's super fast.
It's super fast. Okay, so... let's talk about bad responses.
Okay.
Right. It's
okay.
When you get bad responses from ChatGPT, that's when you and ChatGPT have a bad romance.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about ChatGPT relationship treatment, and without having to go to couples therapy. So why you get bad responses from ChatGPT?
From us, there is couples therapy for people who talk with ChatGPT a lot.
Yeah. So. And coming from experience. So, 2 main reasons: bad prompts and hallucination. So first, let's talk about how to fix bad prompts, and then I'm going to explain to you what hallucination is, where it's coming from, and how you can overcome it. So what average users do is they just put up a prompt as a task. For example, write me a brownie recipe. But what ChatGPT pros do, basically what prompt engineers do, is that they use the 2 key elements, the first 2 in every single prompt, and the other optional 4 elements, so they know when to use which element to improve the responses from ChatGPT.
There is something that I wanted to say here, and because like intuitively, you look at the thing on the left and it's very short, and you look at the thing on the right and it's longer. So it's like, how is it possible that you're doing things faster if you build like these long ass prompts? But actually, most of the times when you just write these short, not even thought out prompts, you end up getting bad responses, as Dave said. So what happens when you end up getting bad responses? You keep kind of refining and reprompting, and you end up in this endless loop that you just simply cannot escape, and you start wasting your time. And what Dave is showing you is how to like avoid that endless loop from the get-go by structuring your prompts the right way.
Yeah, and I mean, what I experienced myself is that you need to know the rules in order to break them.
Ooh.
So you need to know these 6 key elements and what they are for, so you can intentionally use them whenever you need them.
That's the basic philosophy of jazz music.
Yeah, and also it's in graphic design as well. You need to know the rules, and then you can break them and make some beautiful art. So now we are talking about the art of prompting. So for example, a better written or phrased prompt would be to act as an advertising copywriter who is witty, concise, and his primary objective is to make ads that people remember. Write a Facebook ad copy and describe the visual. The product to promote is, you put in the product description there. And then if you want to, you can insert examples from maybe previous successful ads that you ran that you know performed really well, or you can copy ads from your competitors. You can put in restrictions, for example, platform-specific restrictions. So in this case, we wrote a Facebook ad copy. So then you put in what restrictions you must obey when you make Facebook advertising and so on. You can put in like what is considered good. Like, for example, a good ad doesn't need to sell anything. It just needs to trigger the click and so on. So you can then refine this thing, and then you can just get, not just one copy. And with this prompt, you would get one copy, but then you could just say, give me 8, and then you can start A/B testing them. So that's how you can just, improve the responses of ChatGPT. Now, the second thing you can do is to give ChatGPT long-term memory with PDFs, and this is what really helps to stop ChatGPT from hallucinating. So very common question here is like, what the hell is hallucination? So hallucination in large language models is where the model, due to gaps, ambiguities, or errors in its training data, generates information that is not accurate or verifiable. Are you bored?
Sorry, I was waiting for the English translation.
Go ahead. Translate.
No, I was just worried that I was reading this and I'm like, basically, it's when hallucination is when ChatGPT is winging it.
Well, yeah, that's what I tried to put there, but I also wanted to put in some extra stuff into the definition, so it's clear. And it like, this is how you define something. What you say is like a synonym for it.
Sorry, I'm the populist, I think, out of the two of us.
Well, you are the one who didn't have enough sleep last night, so maybe you should just go back to sleep, and I'll bump you when it's your turn again to speak. Well, maybe we should have like a music that we could just put in for you.
Can you be like a bit more quiet, please?
Yeah, I can turn the volume down if you want me to. So, hallucination in large language models is where the model, due to gaps, ambiguities, or errors in its training data, generates information that is not accurate or verifiable, but presents them with unwarranted confidence. So basically, when it doesn't have the data and it acts like it has. So what causes this? There are 5 main reasons, the first 2 being the most important. First one, data gaps. Well, basically, ChatGPT was trained on a lot of data, but not all the data in the world. So especially in languages that are not so widely spoken, like for example, Hungarian only being spoken by 15 million people worldwide, it has gaps in its data, and sometimes the model just wants to fill that to be able to give you a proper response. Prompt ambiguity is when your prompt can be easily misunderstood. So you mean it one way, but ChatGPT really takes it another way and responds it in a as if it was a different prompt. Amplification of noise from the training data. All data pools have a signal to noise ratio, and there is always a little bit of noise. And especially if you increase the temperature of the model, this noise can get amplified as well, and ChatGPT can make up some random stuff that's not true. The complexity of the model also,
which is why I absolutely hate mega prompts.
Okay, explain that, please.
Okay, so amplification of noise, right? It's when you give a lot of things in a mega prompt, when you give a lot of instructions, a lot of different aspects of the prompt that you want ChatGPT to do for you, right? Basically, a lot of the prompt actually ends up like a mega prompt has a lot more noise than a shorter, well thought out prompt. Therefore, the prompt gives more noise to the model. Therefore, the model will end up amplifying the noise itself. And and it may be able to generate you a good quality output, but you won't be able to keep working with the output because you're also eating up the context window as well.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really think about it that way, but that really makes sense. Like how we can also input noise into ChatGPT.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, exactly. The next point is model complexity. So we know that GPT 3.5 has around 175 million parameters, or billion. And GPT-4 probably has even more. We don't know the exact number, but with this sheer size of parameters, it is there's sometimes this little error because the big complex model sometimes just makes errors and makes mistakes. And the last one is generalization mechanisms, because most large language models tend to answer responses in general first, and then if you go deeper, that can make things more specific. But these generalization mechanisms can also sometimes cut corners and result in hallucination. So what can you do to prevent GPT hallucination? There are three main things. You can either feed information in the prompt. So this is what we talked about in the example prompt when I showed you, like, write the Facebook ad and here is the product to sell. Excuse me. Then you can put in information in there, and if your information is you put that in and that's true, then in the output it's going to be also true and not full of hallucination. And the other two are thanks to Keymate.ai, who are the exclusive sponsors of this webinar. So thanks a lot for the Keymate guys. They are doing an awesome job developing this ChatGPT plugin.
Yeah, we love Utku and Özgür. We love those guys, and we are in a very regular contact with them. And actually, we are, I think, can we say that? Can we say that? I think we can say that. We are going to start hosting the Keymate community within the Prom Master community, so we can give a lot more trainings and
Özgür is daddy.
We can give you guys a lot more trainings, a lot more content. Anybody who is a Keymate user will be able to get access to all the goodies that we create.
So Keymate is doing an awesome job at basically fixing what's wrong with ChatGPT. This is how I like to put it. One of the things is web search. So, ChatGPT can search can browse with Bing, but we know I'm sure many people have seen memes of performance between Google and Bing, and I don't have to say which search engine is better. And Keymate uses Google to search the web, so that's I think that's a huge plus, and browse with Bing is not really performing that well in my opinion. And then the other one is that in Keymate you can upload your own knowledge into a personal knowledge base, and then the Keymate plugin can pull information from that. So if you have a lot of knowledge that about your company, your products, and you can just put that out or put that up into Keymate. I'm going to show you how to do that, and then you can basically train a knowledge base and train ChatGPT with your own information and make it pull that information all the time.
There is also an interesting phenomenon, which is something that we've also discussed quite deeply in our community as well, is that the new update of GPT now is also capable of handling PDF documents, right? Mm-hmm. And an old tools GPT experience is also coming. Now, the interesting thing is people are like, so what about that and plugins and whatnot? And it is a user experience battle in a sense, mm-hmm. right? If you are already used to using Keymate, then it's going to be easier for you to just keep using Keymate. You probably already have your knowledge base set up. If not, we're going to teach you how you can do that today. And it is basically a UX journey for every developer, and I think Keymate is doing a really good job at capturing what people want. We have like 250,000 users, and they get access to an incredible amount of data. So sticking with Keymate is going to be worth it, because I think at some point it is very likely that plugins will join with the sort of all tools section of GPT-4. So you will be able to use the advanced data analysis and browser Bing and DALL-E with the plugins of your choice. Like, I think it's going to be like together probably within the next 3 months anyway.
Yeah, but now this new feature to enable PDF uploads in an easy way, because you could upload PDFs before to advanced data analysis. Now they're just trying to pull everything together. that still only allows you to upload PDFs into one chat, and those doesn't transfer over to new chats, right?
Yeah, the chats are always losing context the moment you move out of them.
With the Keymate personal knowledge base, you can upload your PDFs once, and then every time you use the plugin, you can pull information from your knowledge base. So like that's the advantage there.
Okay, so what is a knowledge?
What is a knowledge base?
Let's move.
So
into
I prepared
base.
a simplified explanation of a knowledge base because the scientifically and technically correct explanation would roughly take an hour, and it would probably bore 99% of people being here, including us. So I brought a simplified explanation. So I want you to imagine the color database of Pantone. They are a famous company creating colors, every year, most common colors or best colors of the year, of the month, and so on. And they have these colors coded in numerical format. So for example, you can code them in a hue, saturation, and luminance combination. And that way you can code every single color into numbers. So what if you have, you really like a light blue color and you want to paint your room or your bathroom to this color?
Yeah,
and you want to choose the Pantone color because, well,
reminds me of a tropical island.
That's the company that you want to use, and you want to make sure that you use good colors, not just random ones you picked up. So let's say you put that into this Pantone color database, which is going to be the metaphor for our knowledge base. And then what it says, like your match is the Pantone 310.
Yeah, it's similar.
So it's similar because I eyeballed it, and
you're not colorblind.
I'm not colorblind, and I used the color accurate monitor to do that. So I the match
Fancy.
Well, yeah. So the match was it is arbitrary, but I did this for teaching purposes, So
okay.
So what we did now is basically we got a computer to see colors, to compare the colors by first transforming the colors into their respective color space, so HSB, CMYK, RGB, or hex, and then we calculated the distance between the database and our original color, and then we put out in the output the one that was the closest match, that has the shortest distance if we subtract the two numbers. So
it was your color was a close match, but it needed more luminance, as Anders said.
Yeah. Well, now let's get back to comparing texts. How does this example help us understand how
we're going to translate what we did with the colors, now translate it into text.
Because what we know is computers only understand zeros and ones.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to somehow transform text into numbers. And one of the ways to do that is to transfer them into multi-dimensional, like 1,000-dimensional vectors. And what you do is you convert the text into a vector that has thousands of dimensions, and those numbers can now code the meaning of the sentence, the sentiment of it, and so on. All the information with what a sentence means can be converted into a vector. And then you can put all this stuff, all the text that you have, into a big vector space. And when you put in a new one, you can now calculate the distances with the vectors. So let me show you like a little flow chart of how this works.
Flow chart.
First, you have the raw data that you have, your own PDF files that you want to upload. What you do is you upload it to a software that vectorizes that information. It uses a complex computer algorithm.
This is like the AI equivalent of Jean-Luc Picard's catchphrase. It's not like engage, but it's like vectorize.
Vectorize. Yeah, and then it stores it in a vector database.
Scotty, energize.
So it stores the information in a vector database. And then on the other hand, what happens is when you want to use such information, first you put in the prompt that you want, then that prompt gets vectorized. The software finds the closest neighbor from the vector database, pulls that information back and adds it to the prompt itself. sends that to the model, and then the model responds to you. This way it can use information from the vector database, so basically your own database, and you don't need to understand what vectorization means. All you see is I sent in a prompt and I got information from my own knowledge base and in the model's response.
There was a conversation with one of our students yesterday, what I had on our call. We take pride in committing to have at least 1 hour conversation with each and every one of our students on our advanced tracks. And I had a conversation with Ben yesterday, and we were discussing this vectorization. And here is another way of explaining this that was really useful for him, and I hope it will be useful for you guys. Imagine that whatever information you want to put in a knowledge base, you put it in a big black box, right? And you just shove a BBB. You just shove it in.
Yeah.
Okay, you just shove it in, and then it will have a specific location within the big black box, right? So it will have 3 dimensions. How far is this from this plane? How far is this from this side of the box, that side of the box? If you can measure the centimeters or the millimeters in distance from each side of the box, you have a very accurate location for the thing that you just shoved in, right? Like, for example, you shove in a pencil and you will know that it's probably somewhere in the middle, but at the bottom plane or a bottom side. So basically, that thing that you just shoved into a black box, you can have a numerical explanation of where it is within the box compared to the rest of the box. And that is the vector itself. And then when you think about finding the close neighbors, what's next to the thing? Yeah. Right? What's next to the thing? I want to find the thing that's next to the thing.
Yeah, I just put this in. Find me what's really close to it.
Yeah.
And then it can give you the first closest, the 3 closest, top 5, and so on.
And a really interesting question from Scott is how long does a vector database persist in GPT? Now, by definition, GPT does not have a vector database, right? It does not have a vector database. You need to plug it into a third-party application to do that. But let's move forward, because I think Bert is right. We should be moving forward with more practical stuff.
Yeah. So getting back to, I just want to finish this thing, because I know this is abstract, but I want to show you what happens if you use ChatGPT. If you use ChatGPT only without any external database, you only use a prompt and you get the model response, and that's it. If you have a vector database like Pinecone, which is one of the most famous tools for creating these vector databases, then you have to somehow figure out how you will connect ChatGPT to Pinecone, and that's a process that really requires you to be able to program the whole thing. But if you use keymate.ai, the plugin, then you can access a knowledge base within ChatGPT.
So basically, you don't need to understand any of this abstract things, because you have a tool that can do all of that for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just like when I have an understanding of how software works when I use it. So this is why I wanted to.
That's a slippery slope, bro. That's how you become a programmer.
Okay. Well, let's get on with more practical stuff. So how do you turn on and use GPT-4 with plugins? And I like this analogy of a Swiss Army knife, because what plugins really do is they give ChatGPT extended functions that it couldn't do before. For example, it can search the web. It can do mathematical calculations and complex visualizations. It can help you find accommodation, read your PDFs, and so on.
Although I must say that it's really important that we've had some initial numbers about usage, and most of the people here come from I think people still come mostly from the Keymate newsletter. So you guys are probably already familiar with plugins as well. We got a lot of questions about which plugin to use for this and that. And we've had about a month ago, we've had this statistic that out of about roughly 100 million people using ChatGPT, there are only about 4 or 5 million-ish who are ChatGPT Plus subscribers. And then out of the ChatGPT Plus subscribers, there are only about 500,000 people. I think it's probably larger now, but let's just assume that it's 1 million people, right? So there are only 1 million people in this entire world who has ever used a plugin. A plugin.
Yeah.
A plugin. That's really important because you guys have a knowledge, have an understanding of what plugins are, how to use them, and looking for sort of more advanced level stuff. But you are part of a 1 million people club. Yes, JB Deeper, you're all true Chads. That's the point. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, you are a part of a 1 million people club. And that's crazy. That's how early we are.
Yeah.
So let's turn plugins on and let's do stuff with Keymate because people are asking.
Yeah.
that.
So how do you do this? For those to get them up to speed who haven't used plugins yet, the way to turn it on is on the bottom of your ChatGPT display. You go to beta features and you turn on the plugins. And once you do that, you can select at the GPT-4, you can select plugins. I know these screenshots are a little bit old, but they do their job. So I don't want to hear comments about, yeah, but you don't have the whatever in there, Dolly there. Yeah, I do have, but it's just not on the.
I mean,
it's not on the screenshot.
Stop it. We're just lazy as fuck. We should have done this. It's just we didn't because if you know
it's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. If you know how to use this, it's just irrelevant technical info. If you don't, then you'll probably even forget that it's.
Well,
not.
I just want to embrace imperfection.
Yeah, embrace imperfection.
Yeah, so
that's what I say where we're like, we're lazy as fuck.
It does its job, and so we can move on to doing things that are
awesome.
that create more value. So what happens when you turn on these plugins? Well, when you start a chat with a plugin turned on, it starts listening in the back. So for example, for Wolfram, if you give a mathematic problem to it, then it's just going to turn the plugin on and it's going to do its job. If you use, for example, WebPilot, you can put in any URL and then you can get the paragraphs and headings and all kinds of information from the website that you put in. Or with Keymate, you can ask it to search the web, you can ask it to query your knowledge base and so on. So in collaboration with the Keymate guys, we put together a free Keymate advanced commons cheat sheet that we are going to show you. This is going to be part of one of the gift. So at the end, you'll find a link where you can go and download this cheat sheet. So now it's time for a demo. So let me go to first switch back to camera. David, is there anything happening in the chat while I set things up?
Let's see. Yes, JB, you can have the link to the chat. Just stick with us until the very end and we will share the link. And while David's setting things up, bombard me with questions so I can answer them. And then we go into demos. And that's my favorite part.
Demos, yeah, this is the practical stuff of it.
Yeah.
So just give me 1 second.
So, question time. Haha. Mert Bird has won the game. He is our MVP today. The CEO of Screenshots.
They took a screenshot of the preview of the cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not going to be enough because it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like half of it.
Yeah, it's like a tenth of it.
A tenth of it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's deep. Okay, so let me check. This should work now.
Okay, so David's gonna share this screen.
Yeah, there you go.
And there you go. We're gonna start uploading stuff to our second brain.
So what you see
brain.
here is the Keymate web app display. So you can access that by going to keymate.ai, logging in, And if you log in with the same email that you used to log in with the plugin, when you first turn on the plugin, it's going to prompt you that you need to log in. So you need to go to Keymate, log in, and this is what you will see if you open the Keymate, the app, the web app that they have, and you can use GPT here. So what you can do is you can load a PDF to your knowledge base. So you click this button on the top left, and here you can select a PDF to train your personal knowledge base. So then you can click this choose a file. You can put a file here, and then once you click start training, it's just going to start uploading that information into your knowledge base. So once you do that, I have an example chat that I want to show you, and this is how I created some example pieces of content for our for some marketing material from our prompt engineering course. So first, what I did is I asked ChatGPT to just delete my knowledge base, and I was using the Keymate plugin turned on. So I asked it to delete my knowledge base. Then it ran the plugin, and it says I've successfully deleted your personal knowledge base. And this is a chat we are going to share with you after the session. So, and then I asked, let's check in what's in my knowledge base, and it says, okay, your knowledge base is currently empty. So this is when I took to this web app.
Yeah. And
this is where I uploaded a transcript of our prompt engineering training, which was roughly 40 pages long. So once I had that, I came back and I asked, okay, now query my knowledge base and tell me the 6 key elements of a prompt. And then it says, I found information in your personal knowledge base about the 6 key elements of a prompt. They are context or persona, task definition, example, expected behavior or constraints, what is considered good, and expected steps towards the goal. So would you like to know more about each element? And then I could say just, and I said, yes, explain each element briefly. I actually said briefly, so I even put in a typo, and I love how ChatGPT
my whole pronunciation and just typo. I think I'm now writing a lot more typos than I used to. I just pay less attention to avoid typos because ChatGPT will understand it anyway. Yeah. So why would I care?
And I can type faster if I don't have to care about the
type
typos.
Faster.
So it's everything comes back to being faster.
Faster.
So I told it to explain each element briefly and provide one example. So then it pulled information and explained each element and provided one example. So it was great. And then I said yes. Write me an educational blog post about best practices for defining context or persona. And here's a key. I said, query my knowledge base again to get the best information. And I want to pause here for a second because the reason I did this is in the first query, what I got in information into the prompt was just things that were close in the vector space to the sentence 6 key elements of a prompt. But then I wanted to move away from that meaning to another block, which was context or persona. I wanted to go deeper, and I wanted it to bring me more information about context or persona, and then write me something. So then it says, based on the information from your personal knowledge base, specifically from a transcript of a prompt engineering course, I can write an educational blog post about best practices for defining context or persona in a prompt. And then it just drafted an entire blog post in 1 or 2 minutes. And I said, it asked me I hope you find this blog post informative. Yes, thank you very much. Would you like to know more about any specific section? And then I said, yes, it's great. Now write me a 10-slide Instagram carousel about this topic. And at the last slide, prompt readers to click the link in the bio to read the entire article on our blog. So this is how I just wanted to define the call to action for the social media post. And then it says, certainly here's how you can structure a carousel. Slide 1, cover slide, master the art of crafting prompts. It even put in descriptions of visuals. Excuse me. So iconic symbols like a light bulb or a pencil writing on paper. And then slide 2, introduction, why context or persona. I mean, this carousel doesn't really have a lot of information, so I could have gone back and just explain it a little bit on what makes an Instagram carousel really good, in my opinion, and what kind of response I want. But for demonstration purposes, this was good enough for me. And I said, okay, now write 5 controversial tweets that are bold statements about this topic. And it said, certainly, here are 5 statements. And the reason this is, I think, revolutionary now is that you can upload any kind of PDF with your own knowledge, and then, or other people's knowledge. Also, if that's what you want, just make sure you're not stealing information you're not allowed to, use. But this can be really good for learning, because now you can upload the book that you need to study for an exam, or just like a course transcript that you need to study. You can put that up into Keymate and ask it questions and make it create a persona. It's like, you are the teacher who needs to teach me prompt engineering.
Fun fact, that's actually something that we are going to be trialing with a university in Hungary very soon. How to upload the lessons of a specific subject, the university subject, and then how to use ChatGPT to learn better and faster, just by, hey, this is me. You can create custom instructions on who you are, how you want to learn, etc. And then you can just by default prime ChatGPT to be you, and then boom, that's it. I'm not allowed to say more, not yet.
So what I want to say is, Moonflower says in the chat, yeah, library knowledge at your fingertips. And the good thing about this is there is no size limit to your knowledge base. So if you want to, you can just keep uploading PDFs, and then you just fill up all the vector space and more, because it's not limited to
same question from Andres as well.
Megabytes. Yeah. So there is, like, you could upload the entire digital library that you have access to, and then basically give it so long-term memory. There's something that I wanted to. It's something that now I mean,
it's a matter of computing power.
It is.
With Pinecone, and therefore with Keymate, there is no limit. The more computing power you require, the bigger the knowledge base becomes, the more computing power it requires. The more computing power it requires, the pricier it becomes. And obviously, I think at some point there is this point when you're a software as a service subscription, software as a service customer, like a Keymate subscriber, then at some point you can actually take advantage of that, because then they are paying they are paying Pinecone, and you're making use of that. But I think in theory there is no theoretical limit, which gives you a really good edge.
Something, now as I think about it, something I regret not doing is not writing my own diary, because it would be amazing to just upload awesome. my thoughts from awesome. Years and years ago, and see tell it to analyze
I actually
stuff.
Used to blog a lot. I have years and years
Sounds
worth
like
of
we found
blogs.
our weekend project.
Oh my god.
Okay. I finished with my demo, David.
Okay.
So give me 1 second to give you back the.
Okay. In the
any
meantime,
questions? Any questions about this?
Yeah. So is the knowledge base outside of the ChatGPT token limit? Yes and no. That means that the knowledge base itself is outside the token limit, because what happens is that when you ask a question, basically a search is being performed, and then from the vector database, the search returns the actual information, and that gets put into the context window. So not the entire body of text that is within the knowledge base that gets put into the token limit, or that makes use of the token limit, or is impacted by the token limit, but only the result of your search is what's being used, and that is a really big difference.
Mm-hmm. Something JB Deeper says, I upload my diary, but I don't want AI to know how lame I am.
It knows. Sorry.
No, that's not what I that's not what I wanted to say. The thing is, you now have a decision to make whether you want AI's help to improve your life, to help improve your decision making, your relationships, your career, or if you want to, just if you are afraid, if you just want to put your hand in the sand and say, no, I don't want to know. So this is like, are you ready to just step out of your comfort zone a little bit and and ask AI to be your personal coach available for you 24/7. Because I think that's something that now we can do. And it's not that we need to go to see a specialist and then have to, and actually I find it easier for myself to open up to an AI than to a person that I don't know.
Yeah, but we're weird. I mean, don't forget that we're weird. So it's like...
Okay, back to David. Are you ready to do your demo?
Yeah, let's do the demo. Okay,
there we go.
There is a bit of an advanced use case here that I want to kind of show you guys what you can do if you really learn how to build sequences of prompts, which is one of the advanced use cases that we teach to our students using plugins and advanced data analysis, and just use the whole shebang, but do actually something that's valuable. Now, first things first, what we want to do in this example is, let's say we have a task. What's the total annual revenue of the cupcake industry, and how does it change over time? What's the growth? And just kind of have an operational understanding of the cupcake industry. That's our goal. Now, our prompt is the following. Act as a research assistant who helps me out. That's the persona. Then I give the context. I'm a market researcher, and you're helping me determine the total annual revenue of the cupcake industry. So I did the first element of the prompt, and then the second element is the task description. Your first task is to give me a methodology in which you can estimate this figure and highlight what information you need to search for to get the number. Don't do any searches yet, just explain. So I have the context and the persona and the task. Now what I get is a step-by-step description of what we should be doing in order to find the right kind of information. Here's the thing. When I want to think faster, what I want to do is I don't even want to read this. I want to keep going. I'm like, you know what, ChatGPT, I trust you. You know what you want to do. Let's just keep doing it. I want to trust my ability to prompt you instead of just trusting your responses one by one. So I'm like, okay, let's see. It gave me the methodology. It gave me a list of information I need. Fine. It also gave me a couple of questions that I can actually answer off the top of my head, like defining the scope. So I'm like, yeah, global market, gourmet cupcakes, retail sales, both offline and online. Now, search for the number of outlets, because that was the first thing you wanted me to search for. If you have incomplete data, this is important. If you have incomplete data, make an educated guess, but give me sources. Then it uses Keymate AI, right? It's a shared link, so the plugin of output was redacted. So what happens is that after conducting a search through Google, Keymate returns to me a couple of specific information about gourmet cupcake stores, right? And then based on that, it will give us an educated guess. The educated guess is like, we can consider about 100 major cities and assume about 10 gourmet cupcake stores per city. That gives us an estimate about 1,000 gourmet cupcake stores worldwide. That's a rough estimate, but it's a good operational stuff that we can start with. So now do the same thought process to find info on this, and that would be the second point. And we're actually going to repeat the process for all 5 points. So we have educated guesses as well. It guessed the total annual revenue, $92,000 per outlet annually, only for gourmet cupcakes. I'm like, you know what? At this point, do a sanity check. I just looked at it. I'm like, I don't know if that's good. Let's do a sanity check. Okay, did a sanity check, did some more research, and did a sanity check, and then it's like, it's somewhere between $100 and $200,000, which is kind of like similar to the first result. Okay, let's keep going. So it keeps researching, returns a couple of interesting data points from me, and using all of the data points with the specific links. So if I just open these up, I can actually look into these data points, and I'm like, okay, now you had everything. Please summarize this conversation so far. Used everything for all the data points. It does infer a lot of things for me. It helps think without me. So what happens is that, explain to me step by step what you did, what edge cases did you infer from them. The goal is to explain how this industry works. Again, the point is that we humans, what we're really good at is using incomplete information to infer insights from incomplete information. That is what we're really good at. And historically, we used to build machines that can infer insights from complete information. But that's not a very good thing, because very rarely, in real life, very rarely we have access to fully complete and accurate saturated models. However, ChatGPT is capable of inferring insights from incomplete information. It can just use its own creativity to do that, and that is what we're using in order to leverage the data points once we leverage Keymate properly. So now we have this, and I think there is one interesting thing. Once it understood the market structure, the market leaders, some market share data, etc., it actually updated the estimation of the total outlets from 1,000 to 2,400, because there were a couple more data points that helped it refine this estimation. Now I got 92,000 to 200,000, again, also kind of put together, and I'm like, okay, this is really good. I have a really good understanding of, we have about 2,400 global gourmet cupcake stores. Average is about $92,000 to $200,000 in revenue. There are a couple major players like Sprinkles, Georgetown Cupcake, Magnolia, and there are a couple interesting market insights, but basically growth is anywhere between around 4 to 7% per year. I already got a really good understanding of this, and it took me less than 10 minutes to get to this point. But I'm like, you know what? Let's go deeper. So what I'm going to do now is I opened up a new chat, because this was using plugins. I'm like, I took this, just literally just highlighted it, copied it, opened up a new chat that was advanced data analysis. And then I said, I use ChatGPT to get this. Boom, paste it. And once I had that, I'm like, here's the next task. Based on this, please plot the growth rate and total annual revenue of this industry, highlighting the market share of the largest players versus everyone else. Now, what I want is, now I want to start inferring interesting insights that can be visualized really simply. So I'm using advanced data analysis, which is a Python sandbox that contains about 300 Python libraries. It writes the code for you, and it runs the code within the sandbox. So now let's start calculating the total annual revenue of the entire market. It writes the code, it runs the code. It's not hallucinating, because it runs the calculations through Python. And then I start getting total annual revenue for this specific product type per market player, and also for everyone else. I'm like, okay, I want to understand how this market is structured in a deeper sense. So it's like, okay, let's see how the growth rate is. Obviously, it didn't infer changes in the annual growth rate. It said it thought it was constant. I didn't press it on that. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm gonna accept that. So what I want is to understand, where is the gourmet cupcake industry going? Where is it going? Where does it started from? How did it look like 10 years ago? How will it look like 10 years from now? So it actually started doing, I said, plot a chart for annual revenue for the whole industry, assuming the growth rate was stable and will be. Assume the revenue between 2010 and 2030. Currently it's 2023, so you'll need to go backwards and forwards too. And now it does a backward projection. It does the forward projection, and it actually runs the code, and then it encounters an execution error, but it corrects the execution error for itself multiple times until it gets it right. And then we have the chart of the projected annual revenue of the cupcake industry for the last 10 years and the next 10 years, essentially, more or less, with a range for upper and lower revenue estimates. Now, this is something I can already use as a business owner when I want to make a decision whether or not I want to invest in entering this market. Is this growing fast enough? Is this becoming big enough? Is this the kind of market structure that I want to play around in? I can tell you that in the last 12 years, I've run a lot of startups. I used to do a lot of fundraising, and getting to this kind of market insight usually took me about 2 weeks. And with ChatGPT, it takes me about 20 minutes altogether. And I think that is one of the interesting things, that you can actually use ChatGPT for very complicated, high-value tasks if you can let go of the notion of using one prompt per task. That's, I think, the death of prompt engineering when you want to build mega prompts and when you want to build like complicated prompts and you just want to kind of say, okay, I'm going to send the prompt to ChatGPT and see what the result is. That's the death of prompt engineering. That's when you're not getting not even 10% of what you could get out of it. And I think one of the problems is that most people start with that. I start with like simple prompts, then go to mega prompts. None of those work. And then they jump right onto, okay, I need to start coding. But most people who are using ChatGPT do not know how to code. So the big challenge is, how do I go from a beginner ChatGPT user to the guy who's able, or the girl who is able to build stuff like this without coding, right? I think that's the main challenge here. And we also have an answer for that, right? Right.
I was reading the chat.
Okay, I was. That's fine. Anyway, that's basically one of the advanced use cases that we're doing, and I wanted to show you guys what plugins like Keymate, which are like broad use case plugins, and really advanced ChatGPT use cases can do for you. How you can use ChatGPT for academic purposes, for market research purposes, how you can actually use it to do your knowledge-based job 30% faster and also 40% better. So I think I'm done with my demo. What's next?
What's next is we keep going with the presentation in a moment.
Boop, 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 boop. Okay.
So I'm gonna.
I saw that you were very busy with the questions section, so I just wanted to ask you if there was anything worthwhile that we should also
There
discuss.
were questions about like what happens if the response is too long and ChatGPT gets stuck generating that I didn't answer because my response is only 200 characters. So could you elaborate a bit? It's like what happens if it's like, you know, like it gets too long, it gets stuck, it says regenerate. How do we overcome those problems?
Okay, so usually what I do is then when it gets stuck. So this is an interesting thing. I think ChatGPT is dealing with auto-scaling issues. So there are multiple instances of ChatGPT. We already know that ChatGPT uses multiple models that are weighted. So in a lot of times, what happens is that the model gets deprecated, or the instance that you are using when you're talking to ChatGPT gets deprecated while you're having a conversation with it. Just think of it as a room. There is a ChatGPT in every room in a building, and there are like 10 of you talking to the same ChatGPT. And then when most people are done, only you remain. Then OpenAI is like, okay, I'm going to just shut down this ChatGPT. But I'm still here. No, sorry. Going off. No, but I still am talking to ChatGPT. Sorry. Boom. Off. And then it sends you an error message. Then you need to restart the conversation. And when you restart the conversation, you will be put into a different room with a different ChatGPT, but with that specific chat history. That's how I think about it. And since I started thinking about it that way, it actually makes a lot of sense. All right. So
Lovely.
let's talk about sort of a summary of this. So today we learned quite a few things. We learned why you get bad responses, right? We also learned how you can stop ChatGPT from hallucination. We showed you advanced ChatGPT use cases. We showed you knowledge bases. We showed you plugins. And I think by now it's clear that what we do, as we said, we teach people how to do awesome, crazy things with ChatGPT. We also teach our students how to even automate them to the point when ChatGPT and AI works for you. This is what we teach in our ProMaster community. I need to find my button. So why do we do this? So we started this workshop stating that any knowledge-based job can be done 30% better, 30% faster, 40% better if you're skilled with ChatGPT, according to these researchers at Harvard, Wharton, and MIT. We have in the last, 8 months, 6 months? I don't even remember when we started. We started in March, so it's like 7 months. In the last 7 to 8 months, we've proven our process with our friends at Neuron Solutions, the academics I mentioned in the beginning. A simple 3-step process that can get you to the point when you're not only a professional knowing how to do your job well, but you can also do your job faster. This is a simple 3-step process that we teach our student where no tech skill is needed, no previous experience is required. If you just registered to ChatGPT yesterday, you are in the best place to do that. You don't need to learn anything. You don't need to know anything. We will teach you everything you need. Now, what is this 3-step process? The first step is you need to learn prompt engineering. You need to get a formal education. You need to get certified. So with our prompt engineering course, which is a 4-hour long online course, it's been taken by about 1,000 people already. We started issuing, we're issuing prompt engineering certificates like crazy.
Yeah, like 10 or 20 a day.
Yeah. So this prompt engineering course is just 4 hours, but it can get you to the point where you could get to by just trialing and erroring ChatGPT for about 500 to even 1,000 hours of trial and error. This will unlock the 30% faster work that we are talking about, and you can get access to a pre-recorded set of videos on our community that's hosted on Circle. And essentially, you're gonna get promoted, get that essay done, and be happy. This course is usually valued and sold individually at about $99. But we also move forward because there is the second thing, which is the 45-minute private consultation with David or David.
Just call me Dave. So it's
sorry. Okay. So
the easy thing to remember for people is like Dave is less letters because I'm the shorter one. So it's easier for you to remember this one. Just call me Dave and the big guy
less
is David.
Letters and less centimeters. Okay. Got it. Less. Okay. So we do one-on-one consulting call with every one of our students. This is usually priced at about $150 because we also do consulting for our clients at $200 an hour. But for every one of our students, we actually jump on a call, and you can basically use this time to whatever you want. One of the best use cases that I also enjoy very much, and our students also love it, I just share my screen and I do what you want me to do. You have a problem with ChatGPT, you want to get something done that's super crazy with ChatGPT, but you don't know how to do it, let me do it. I'll give it a go, and I'm going to do it in 45 minutes. And I'm very proud of it to say, that I haven't failed yet, not even once, since we started doing these calls. I always managed to get it done on all of the calls. So I'm still waiting for the first person who gives me a task that I can fail on a live consulting call. And I will probably do it, but not like code a full game or something. I mean, I'm going to be like, we still do that in 45 minutes. Anyway, this is basically the most personalized way of teaching and learning. This is, I think, the best ways of learning that we can offer. There is a caveat, though. The way we do these one-on-one consulting calls is through Open Tuesdays. So we only do these calls on Tuesdays, and the time slots are going pretty fast. So it doesn't matter if you want us to just build stuff with ChatGPT for you, or even build ChatGPT bots with stuff like make.com, or where you can automate ChatGPT. We can do that for you, but the time slots are going away pretty fast. I think we have less than 30 to 35 slots for the rest of the year. I think we're less than 30 now.
Yeah.
So if you want to become our student and make use of this, make sure that you get your hands on this pretty fast. Now there is a third step. The third step is becoming a prompt master. Going from a prompt engineer and just graduate to becoming a prompt master, hence the brand name. We're going to teach you super advanced ChatGPT use cases. The thing that I showed you with Keymate, market research, advanced data analysis that, you might think, oh, it's sweet. That's going to be an entry point. That's going to be the sort of most basic stuff you're going to learn on lesson 1. We're going to help you automate your work with ChatGPT based bots. We're not just going to give you bots. We're going to teach you how to build them without even coding, without even looking at the code. You will be able to automate everything, find the right task to automate, even calculate the added value you can generate so you can justify that to your boss or to your clients. And we're going to teach you literally everything we know. The way we do this is through live workshops on Thursdays. We're going to have one tomorrow for people who want to launch their consulting business. We put together a 2-hour-long workshop on how we did it ourselves. And basically, every Thursday, you get 2 hours of Prompt Master workshops. You get the recording. So all the stuff that we've been teaching so far, you get access to the recording of that. You will learn advanced ChatGPT strategies, all the automated workflows, and building apps. So these are the 3 steps that we call together the ChatGPT Accelerator Bundle. You learn you learn prompt engineering formally. You get certified. You get a 45-minute consulting session, and you also get the actual prompt master training. Now, altogether, when you buy these separately, this would cost you about $1,200, about $1,247. But we decided that our ChatGPT Accelerator Bundle should get like $1,000 off. So we are actually selling this for $297 only. Now the question is, how can you become a prompt master for $297 with a 14-day, no questions asked, full refund guarantee, no tech skills needed, and also this basically gives you lifetime subscription to our membership. Whatever we have on there, you will get basically access to it until one of us dies, either you or us. I mean, that's basically it. We're going to teach you everything we know. That's basically our personal mission. How can you get that? You can get that by going on promptmaster.com/bundle or taking a snap of this QR code, go in there, go to the landing page, click on the buy now button, and then purchase the bundle. Can we show what happens when someone buys the bundle?
Well, yeah, one of the things that people say is they really like, even the community itself is worth it, and the consulting sessions. So yeah, 1 second, I'm just gonna switch to the camera now, and well, David, you can just go ahead and show people what they would
awesome.
Get when they join.
Okay, so basically what happens when you buy our bundle, you get greeted by our community manager, Dan, who also started out by buying this bundle, and now he's our community manager. He greets everybody in the community. And then you get the instructions on what to do here. And as you can see, there is a very lively community, people sharing stuff with each other, what they're prompting. Janica one of our students just started doing AI news. So there's a digest. We're going to give her own dedicated space. People are also sharing everything, all the stuff that people are doing for their own prompting journey, and sharing knowledge with each other.
Yeah, they say that what did you GPT today, or
what
this
did you
week?
GPT today?
This is the most valuable part, the space of the community. Many people just like in their morning coffee, they just open the community and they just keep scrolling and reading the posts. So
okay,
great.
Now here's the prompt engineering course where you can find all the students, and this is basically a bunch of video recordings that you just go in there and you can watch them. So I'm not gonna show the whole video, but these are basically lesson type or like lecture type videos, and also prompt along exercises by Mr. Dave Tallis here, who just shares his screen and teaches you everything. At the end, you can take an exam, and if you pass the exam, you can get certified. If you've purchased the prompt engineering course already, but haven't purchased the bundle yet, we are going to show you how you can get $99 off from even the bundle. So if you're already a student of the prompt engineering course and want to upgrade to the bundle, we have a solution for you. And then there is the prompt master community, where you can find all the previous recordings. And as you can see, last week we had a 2-hour-long workshop where Dave was teaching people how to build their own ChatGPT bots with make.com, and there was a lot of Q&A. It was a really good conversation. And we also have a section here where we all share all the bots that we build within this community. I'm not going to show that to you guys because that's the money shot.
That's secret.
That's secret. That's very secret. So this is what happens when you guys join our community. If you are contemplating or waiting for a sign, there is a reason why you joined this workshop today, and that is that you want to learn how to become better at prompting ChatGPT. And I can tell you this, according to a lot of our students, currently the ChatGPT Accelerator bundle is the best way to do that. And that's mainly it.
Someone asked, like, why do you guys have thick Hungarian accents? Well, guess what?
Mert magyar vagyok azért.
Én is.
All right, so let's keep moving on. Let's take a look at a few of the questions, shall we?
Yeah. Someone asked, like, how will this work if you already obtained the prompt engineering certificate? So what we have is if you already have the prompt engineering course, you should just email us at support@promptmaster.com, and we'll give you a coupon that gives you $99 off the bundle. So you don't have to pay for the same thing twice.
I think we're going to actually send out info in email with all of that. Okay, what else do we have here?
They say, or until one of the Daves kills the other, like in Highlander, there can only be one Dave. Well, yeah, but that's why I'm Dave, he's David. So there is no competition there.
Yeah, and I'm 6'5", so I would need to give you a chair to be able to chop my hat off. But we have plenty of chairs.
Yeah, cheat sheet link.
Okay, so where is the cheat sheet link?
The cheat sheet link is at the bottom of this bundle page. So if you click this, or you use the QR code, or you go to promptmaster.com/bundle. David, can you put it in the chat? promptmaster.com/bundle.
Yes. Let me do that.
So people can people can also get that or click it from the link. So if you scroll down all the way, there's the so it's just shorter guy has lower center of gravity though. Yeah, being short has its advantages. And by the way, I'm not short. I'm totally average height. So with my 175 centimeters, I'm right in the 50th percentile. So, and we don't want to confuse you with the QR codes. There's just one QR code, and this is the holy grail of QR codes here. I want to point Okay. So, is the offer timed? So, what we do, and personally, I believe that if there is a digital product that is not really timely bound, it doesn't make sense to create like some fake scarcity that you can only buy it like until yesterday. So we have this offer. This is available. This is an ongoing offer. The earlier you join, the earlier access you have to learn new things.
Yeah.
So obviously there is a compounding effect on your knowledge in your future. And the other thing is you will get the link to book the consulting session with us when you buy in the first confirmation email. And the slots are, you can only book like 30 or 60 days into the future. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe 60 days. So soon it will get filled up, and then first come first served basis for the consulting session.
Also, there is this question that keeps coming up about will this training will be good for this or that kind of people. And here's the thing. most of our students are coming from like our students come from a very varied background, right? We have business owners, entrepreneurs, startup founders. We also have developers, IT consultants, professionals. We have small business owners, business consultants, marketers, copywriters, even accountants. It's there's a lot of different people. There are academics. Even my old university thesis advisor is now our student, which is probably one of the biggest wins that I've actually ever managed, having dropped out of university. So yes, Daniel, if you are asking if this will be good for people working in IT, then definitely. We do have a lot of our community members who are actually already working together on different projects where they are making use of their newfound ChatGPT knowledge and AI knowledge in their IT related jobs as well. So I definitely recommend this.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I want to read out Philo Angela's chat message here. She says, I'm so proud of you guys. I've already ordered it and I'm learning everything a marketing consultant can give me 30% faster and better. This will be my Christmas present.
Oh,
so I've pinned it. This really warmed my heart when I
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. In the meantime, do we have anyone else here who are our students? Just show yourself and let's let everybody know what it's like to learn with us. In the meantime, I'm also going to take a look at the other questions.
Someone said, mind-blowing education experience. My favorite was having bot education with David and solving business AI complex challenges with Dave. Thank you both and team behind the scene. You guys are epic.
Oh,
thank you very much. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
I think that was Shay.
Pardon?
I think that was Shay.
Well, SCR Therapy is the one who commented this, so I don't know the person behind SCR Therapy.
Hey Shay, that was Shay.
It's Shay? Okay.
Yeah, it's Shay.
Lovely. I'm gonna pin it for a second. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Fabio. I've done a lot of fundraising in my previous lives, and it's really interesting. So I did have a few kind of test runs on doing stuff regarding fundraising with ChatGPT, and I can definitely say that it works because as a startup founder raising funds in the past, one of the most time-consuming tasks were preparing all the material and collateral into a good kind of very well-researched set of arguments, and creating the presentation and just creating the collateral and everything else. So that can be really quickly done with ChatGPT. Also, filtering out all the investors that I would want to reach out to and understanding who is a good fit, who is not a good fit, is a really, really good use case for ChatGPT. Once you have the criteria that you want to do, and once you have the sort of data lake that contains all the different investor information, you can really easily start filtering them and find your right target audience. There is a couple of exercises that we teach our students. There are teachers that we teach our students on how to do this, and how to fine-tune a set of contacts to a specific avatar using ChatGPT. That's actually one of the things that we're going to teach tomorrow on our next workshop. If you have a set of contacts, let's say investors or customers or whoever you want to reach out to, and then you also have an avatar of the ideal perfect fit, then we are going to teach you how to match the two and return a third or return a new list that contains only those that are a good match. So I definitely recommend using ChatGPT for fundraising, desk research, and other back office work. Now, Martin Payne, when does the next round of classes start for the bundle? We do new classes every Thursday. So to answer your question, tomorrow. That's the answer. The next round starts tomorrow, and we haven't yet announced what's gonna happen from next week, because we've announced the first 5 lessons that we've done. We have the 5th tomorrow, and then we're gonna announce the upcoming sessions. We're gonna do a lot of sessions on just asking our students to, like, hey guys, we're gonna do a group session when you can come in and ask us to build something for you, either a prompt sequence on ChatGPT, or we can even build a ChatGPT bot live for you. We're just gonna experiment and learn together. We do the live session tomorrow at is it 3 p.m. UTC now?
Yes, 3
yes,
p.m.
3 p.m. UTC.
So same time as
today, but tomorrow, and it's done on Zoom. So there is a lot of interactive Q&A sessions as well. So I definitely recommend. Fabio, when you sign up for the bundle, I'm gonna take a note of you using ChatGPT for research, for fundraising, so I can dig up a few of my ChatGPT chats that I can share with you, and we can discuss those on the one-on-one consulting call. Everything gets recorded, and you're gonna get access to the recordings. But I see that there's a lot of value in seeing and attending the live recordings as well.
Yeah, something that I want to say is that the live sessions are a little bit different than this one. So we host them on Zoom, and we usually call people to share what they think about a certain topic. If they have questions, they can come to basically the stage, and they can talk to us via Zoom, and we record everything, and then we upload that to our archives. So basically, even if you can't come to the session, you still have you can still watch the recording. And it's like what I know is that we have a roughly like 25 to 30% attendance rate live of people who can actually come to the sessions. So it's totally normal if you cannot attend live, and people say that the recordings are they decent, and they can just get themselves caught up pretty fast.
Okay, Nando, what do you do for a living? Let us know. If you're still with us. You're a trainer, and what do you train?
Oh, you have the...
AWS.
You want me to share the screen?
Yeah.
There you go.
Share it.
It's shared.
Okay, awesome. So act as a sales rep. I'm a trainer for AWS, and I just got offered the ChatGPT Accelerator bundle for $297 that would enable me to do most of my knowledge-based jobs 30% faster and even 40% better. Please invent a way to sell this to my boss so I get approval and I can attend the training. Here's something. The way I structured it is that I wanted to specifically add the invent verb to this. And that is important because I found that it's a strong word that triggers creativity. And there's also another thing that I like to do, and that is, do you understand what I want you to do? So this is interesting. If I add all the task description and everything, but then at the end I ask, do you understand what I want you to do? Two things can happen. One, it actually takes the last question as the task itself, and it will just explain what I want to do. Or if it still has compute remaining, then it will also do the task. But first, explain me what I want it to do. So if there is a miscommunication, it will be able to get back to me. So
when did you put in the link for the bundle?
Not yet. Okay, so there is a lot.
Oh, I know what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah, so there is a lot of stuff here, which is pretty good. But now, I intentionally did not want to build a mega prompt because now I have something that I can use, right? Okay. Now I have the web browsing enabled. I could have other stuff enabled, but the last time I was doing something with web browsing, so I'm just going to use that. Now, look at this website and try to craft the perfect pitch and argument that I can tell my boss. So I don't really like web browsing because it's slow, but it works really well. Now, yes, Eduardo has a really good point because that's what we can do. Now look at that. Now it gave me the information on what we can do. So now here's something that I like to do. This. Prepare a solid case, emphasize demonstrate ROI. Okay, I'm just going to do this. Use the following step-by-step guide to write a pitch. Write the pitch. So, one of the things that... Oh, it's not doing what I want. Not yet. So, one thing that we teach when we teach people how to build prompt sequences is when you actually use multiple personas with ChatGPT and you make the personas talk to each other. So, okay, now it has all the recommendations. And now write the script for the sales pitch that I will say word to word. As you can see, instead of just saying one prompt, I'm actually doing a lot of stuff all at once. There is a whole conversation.
Dear boss's name.
Dear boss's name, I've come across an invaluable resource named ChatGPT Expert Abundant Price at $297, which is designed to significantly enhance job performance through a structured learning experience in ChatGPT. The bundle comprises self-paced learning, one-on-one consulting, and live workshops. Research from prestigious institutions like Harvard, Wharton, and MIT indicates that mastering ChatGPT can lead to 30% speed improvement, 40% quality enhancement in knowledge-based tasks. Assuming a 30% time saving, an extra hour saved per week can be reallocated by creating additional training materials or conducting more training sessions, directly aligning with our training goals and AWS's broader objectives. Well, that's, it's not AWS's broader objectives, but it's your company. I'm committed to sharing the acquired knowledge and best practices.
No, he is
with
a
our
trainer
team.
for AWS.
Well, so you work for AWS or
Yeah.
you train people to use AWS? That's not.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Act as my boss and ask. Copy paste this for
We'll
me.
share the chat.
We'll share the chat. We'll share the chat. Act as my boss and ask counter questions so I can make sure that the investment is well placed. So not I, but you can make sure.
So now you're asking the boss to give you the objections.
Yes.
And then you will ask ChatGPT to handle the objections.
And now what I would do is, so as Eduardo nailed on this, I can feed some information on my boss or on your boss, even some text so it can understand how he would formulate or she would formulate arguments. And it's like, try to ask questions this person would ask, right? And then answer the questions based on the landing page.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Well, we don't have it. We already have the questions, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to answer them. Answer the questions based on your available information from the landing page. I'm not sure if it still retained all the information in the context window, but we'll see what happens. Hey, Charlie, that's a really good question. Here's the thing. I don't claim that I know all about ChatGPT, but I do claim that everything I learn about it, I'm going to teach you. And for most of our students in our community, that seems to be more than enough. If it's not enough for you, within 14 days, we give you money back. Does that sound like a good deal to you, Charlie?
Can you go back to GPT and let's see the response.
So, the training is self-paced, allowing for flexibility without disrupting the current workload. There are no additional costs mentioned beyond the initial $297. Effectiveness can be measured. Landing page did not... Okay. Success rates. That's actually a pretty good feedback. We do need to update our landing page. Yeah. This is something we also had a conversation about earlier. The testimonials you can find and all the students' feedback you can find within the community will be talking for itself. So I definitely recommend that you guys ask our students, ask other fellow students about their experience who have gone through this. I think we're probably gonna update the landing page soon with all the testimonials we're getting. We actually have like a channel on Slack with all the testimonials we're getting, but it's just we don't have the time.
We're not fast enough.
We're not super fast enough. All right, guys. If you're waiting for a sign, that's it. I think it's also about time for us to leave soon.
Yeah, let's wrap up.
So let's wrap up. Awesome, Nando. I'm really happy that we did that. So yeah, I don't like the word gurus. Here's the thing, an expert is only a person who knows 1% more than you do, and if I know 1% more than you do, I can commit to one thing. I will keep doing my best to keep knowing at least 1% than you, but then I'm also going to teach everything I know. And I think that's a really good way to end this webinar.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks a lot for everybody for coming.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
We'll follow up with an email where you will find the link to the recording, to the Kimi cheat sheet, to the study. And don't forget to click this, or not click, but like scan the QR code and go to promptmaster.com/bundle. And if you have any questions, you can reach us at support@promptmaster.com. So that's it for us for today. And I hope to see many of you tomorrow on the workshop. So thanks a lot, everybody.